Pro tips from Barry's Auto Body. Staten Island's only eco-friendly, full-service auto body repair facility. We accept all insurance companies. This video is about checking under the car's hood. Now, checking under the car's hood is actually very important. People don't realize that if there is a problem under your car's hood, if the fluid levels are off, if there's a check engine light on and it ends up causing a problem in your engine, that's not going to be warranted. Even on a newer car, the dealer will not warranty that. And you could end up, with a couple $1,000 bill because you didn't check the fluids on your car and because there was an issue. So they should be checked regularly, maybe twice a year or at least once a year. This is windshield washer fluid. If you're going to put windshield washer fluid in, it should be the one that says 30 below or something that says de-icer on it. There are other fluids on the market. They're sold in New York, even though they shouldn't be. The problem is that even if you put them in the summer, that windshield washer fluid is going to be the same that goes in the, it's the same in the winter. And during the winter months when you really need it and it's snowing out, you don't want to get stuck where all of a sudden you're going to use your windshield wipers and it ends up freezing on you. Because then they won't work and you won't be able to use them and you'll be stuck in a snowstorm. Also, you should be using a funnel. You see how we're not just pouring it in and just letting it spout all over into all the wiring and everything on the car. You're better off using a funnel. It makes it a lot easier and simpler. Now this right here is the brake fluid. It's right above on this car. It happens to be above the brake booster. And you can see it's got the yellow cap on top, which you take the yellow cap off. Now you see the fluid inside. That's the brake fluid. The owner's manual will tell you what kind of brake fluid to use. And there's also on the brake fluid that we were just looking at, and also this one, the power steering fluid, there's a min and a max mark. There's arrows on the side of it that are going to tell you a min and a max, and you want to make sure that it's, better off towards the max. But as long as in the middle of the two, you'll be all right. But you should try to have it, right at the max level. All right, this is basically also easy to check. This is the engine oil. You see how I took it out, and I'm actually cleaning it all off first before we check it. And you want to make sure all the oil is off of there because you don't want a false reading. And we're going to stick it back in. So you stick it back in, let it sit for a minute. Don't pull it right out. Let it sit for at least 3-4 seconds. All right, now we're going to pull it out. Try to pull it out straight, not touch the sides. The best you can anyway. And you could see it's right up to the maximum mark in this car. So that means we don't have to add any, and that's a very simple mark. It could be in the middle there, but we wouldn't recommend that. The oil you really want to be, as close to the max mark as you can. And now we had to take the top cover off, which it pulled right off on this car. And the owner's manual will let you know that. We even, as professionals, we even check the owner's manual. And this is the tranny fluid. Most cars, you can check the tranny fluid. Certain cars, you actually have to put the car on a lift to check the tranny fluid, and that would be done by a mechanic. But most cars you could do yourself, and the owner's manual will tell you that. Now, it's the same thing on the tranny fluid. We completely cleaned it off this way. There's no more residue on it before we check it. And then we're going to stick it back in. So we're sticking it back in. And you let it sit for a second, or at least a few. You should let it sit for about 3 or 4 seconds at least. And you also want to check the owner's manual on the engine and the transmission fluids to see if it's telling you to check it while the car is started or while it's not started. Because every car will be different on that. And you do have to check the owner's manual. That one, the fluid was good also. It was close to the maximum mark, and it was right where it should be. Engine and transmission fluid, though, I don't want to stress that enough. Make sure you check the owner's manual because some cars are different. Some cars you need to check the engine when it's started. Other cars, it's when it's off, and then vice versa. And the same thing with the transmission. The battery terminals, you want to make sure that the battery terminals are tight. If they're clean, that's fine. We do have another video on actually cleaning the terminals, but that's for another video. Now, the fuses in the car. It's always recommended if a fuse blows or if you have an electrical, if a radio goes out or something, You shouldn't just check the radio fuse, you should check all the fuses. That I just had in my hands is a fuse puller. Any car, they all have that in the fuse box, and you could pull the fuses out if there is a blown fuse. So that's me just demonstrating pulling a fuse out. And that fuse is good. You can see the fuse is good. That fuse is going back in. It's a good fuse going back in. It was a bad fuse that we took out. All right, so the fuse is back in there nice and secure. Now when checking the fuse, you're going to have a top on top of each fuse. You see how the light goes on either side of the fuse? There's a metal top. It's just like a little nipple sticking out of the top of either side of the fuse. And either side, when you touch the top of the fuse, the light will go on, and it's telling you that you have electric there. Now, on either side of the fuse, if one side has electric, and so basically if one side turns red and the other doesn't, then you know you have a blown fuse. If both of them turn red, that's fine. If both of them don't turn on, that's fine also, because that would just be a dead fuse or a spare fuse. For other tips as far as checking underneath the engine, basically most important, like I said before, check the owner's manual. Most things are in the owner's manual. There's also a lot of other stuff on the internet and Google and everything. You could always call, us at Barry's Auto Body. Our telephone number is 718-948-8585. Check us out also, barrysautobody.com. And we're located at 4301 Amboy Road, Staten Island, New York, 10312. It's right on the corner of Amboy Road and Armstrong Avenue. We're a block away from Amboy Road and Richmond Avenue, which is a major intersection. And we're conveniently located right next to Shop and Stop parking lot. And the Eltonville train station is actually right down the block from us. So we're in a good spot for anybody that wants to bring a car in. Take care. Thank you very much.